Before 1890, this area of Stratford, bounded by West Ham Lane, Stratford Broadway, Romford Road and Vicarage Lane, was open fields, with a congregational church near the eastern end. By 1897, however, a Victorian residential development had been built and a new community established by its first residents. The 9 Victorian streets of what was known as the Shirley House estate, more recently referred to by some residents as Stratford Village, have remained largely intact despite some bomb damage during the Blitz. Nestling behind the main thoroughfares, Stratford Village has been left relatively untouched by developers and is a testament to Stratford's past. There are over 650 houses in these streets. Who lived in them? How did residents earn their living? Local volunteers with the Discovering Stratford Village project set out to unlock the past and find out about the occupants and their working lives over a 100-year period.
Well, I got involved in the project because I'm a naturally nosy person with a passion for local history.
I got involved in the project because as someone who lived in Stratford Village for nearly 40 years, I was delighted that someone was taking an interest in the history and the background.
I've lived locally for 20 years. I'd always been interested in the heritage of Stratford and the local area, so it just seemed like a perfect opportunity to find out a little bit more.
I was interested to learn about Alfred Tennyson, the poet laureate, who died shortly before the Stratford Village development was founded. And there are at least 3 roads in the Stratford Village complex that have links to Alfred Tennyson.
I learned what some of my neighbours had been up to all their lives, in particular one neighbour who was in her late 70s when I spoke to her last year, and she told me about her working life, and I learned an awful lot.
I've learned a lot of things, including a lot of research tools there are for investigating the past.
I've learned how important it is to record people's history before it's too late.
Prior to World War II, we know from census returns that a significant number of residents were working in the railway, clothing and transport industries. But the need for services in Stratford itself and good transport links to central London meant the area was convenient for workers from a wide range of service industries. The research identified some less common jobs, such as theatre impresario, musician and actress, as well as some occupations that no longer exist, such as button maker, carman, poor law officer, lamplighter and feather curler.
Some residents, having evacuated the area during World War II, never returned. However, many local people continue to work in the service sector and in skilled and semi-skilled roles. We interviewed residents and ex-residents about their working lives going back to the 1960s and 70s.
First of all, we took a little bit of time setting the project up, talking to people, talking to local organisations. The idea, of course, came from a local resident and we built on that. So there was a groundswell of local opinion that this was a good thing to do.
What makes a great community heritage project is the ability of empowering people and participants and supporting them in taking charge for their learning and for shaping the direction of the project.
I think the Discovering Stratford Village project was a good community project because it brought together local residents. We learnt more about the history of the area and we were able to capture some wonderful memories of our older neighbours.
Discovering Stratford Village is a brilliant community heritage project because it connects the past with the present and the future. And I now sense in an area where there's been a lot of social change that there's actually some real continuity.
I think what's really good is there's a legacy to this project as well. So we're leaving behind guided walks and a website. So lots of ways in which other people can find out for the future, which I think is fantastic.
I think this was a good community heritage project because finally you hear the views of ordinary people who've done so much to shape the evolving Stratford that we've got today.